All right, let's talk about a real giant, the continent of Asia. I mean, it is a place of just incredible scale and diversity. So in the next few minutes, we're going to give you a really simple framework to help you understand it all. Let's dive right in.
So let's start with the most obvious question, right? We all know Asia is big, but it's one of those things that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. I mean, just how big are we really talking about here?
Well, the number itself is pretty staggering. Asia covers somewhere between 44 and 45 million square kilometers. But, a number of that big, it's a little abstract. It doesn't really mean much on its own. So let's try to put that into perspective.
Check this out. This really helps. Asia makes up nearly 30% of the entire planet's land area. Think about that. Almost 1/3 of all the land on Earth is in this one continent. But its dominance? It doesn't stop there.
Because look at this. Asia is home to roughly 60% of all people on Earth. We're talking 4 to 5 billion people. So here's the key takeaway. When we talk about Asia, we are literally talking about the majority of humanity and a huge, huge piece of our world. So how do we even begin to understand a place this vast? Well, the answer is pretty simple. We break it down. To make any sense of this incredible scale, geographers often divide the continent into 5 major subregions. And honestly, this simple framework is the absolute key to organizing all that complexity. Okay, let's run through them real quick. First, you've got West Asia, which includes places like Saudi Arabia and Iran. Then there's South Asia, basically the Indian subcontinent, with giants like India and Pakistan. Then you have East Asia, with China, Japan, and South Korea. Moving south, there's Southeast Asia, home to Indonesia and Vietnam. And finally, Central Asia, with countries like Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. See? Just thinking in these zones makes the whole map so much more manageable. Of course, there are always some interesting exceptions, right? A couple of countries, you've probably heard of them, Russia and Turkey, are what we call transcontinental. That just means they've got territory in both Asia and Europe, kind of bridging those two worlds. So now that we have a bit of a geographic handle on Asia, let's look beyond the map itself. Because the diversity within all these regions is just as massive as the continent. Economically, Asia is an absolute powerhouse. Just for perspective, it accounts for roughly 40% of the entire world's GDP. We're talking about a vital hub for global trade, manufacturing, technology, you name it, it's all happening there. And the cultural depth is just, wow. Asia is the birthplace of so many of the world's major religions. We're talking Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, not to mention the countless local and indigenous faiths that have shaped human history for thousands of years. Even the physical geography is a story of incredible contrasts. On one hand, you have the Himalayan mountains, the highest peaks on the entire planet. And then on the other, you have the massive, bone-dry Arabian Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. It's this sheer diversity that makes the continent so endlessly fascinating. Okay, so we've covered the scale, the regions, and the diversity. But why is this basic map so important for you to know? Let's break down how this knowledge actually becomes a pretty powerful tool.
Look, this isn't just trivia, it's truly essential knowledge. If you're a student, this is foundational stuff for geography and social studies. It's also core information for general knowledge in exams. But I think, most importantly, this framework gives you a mental map to better understand what's happening in the world and how it's all connected.
And that brings us to what might be the most crucial point of all. The reason we use maps and visuals like this is because, as the source material points out, organizing information visually makes it so much easier to remember and to really, truly get it. It's about turning random data into actual knowledge.
So now you have the foundational map of this incredible continent. The real question is, where do you want to go from here? Now that you can picture the 5 Asias, which one of those subregions really sparks your curiosity? Think about it. The journey is just getting started.